It's really given us back quite a fair bit of time, as well as being able to increase the effectiveness of what we're doing.
Hello, everyone. This is Uday Chakravarthi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clinch, which is all about transforming future of work and empowering go-to-market teams, especially sales teams, to help accelerate revenue and growth. Today, I'm excited to talk to Neil Jamieson from ShiftCare. We also have Natalia from our team, who leads some of our product ops and customer success. So Neil, would love to get started with some intros on your side.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Uday. So my name's Neil Jamieson. I'm the sales director for ShiftCare. ShiftCare is an Australian care management software or agency management software. We are the largest CMS in Australia, and we've recently just launched in North America. And yeah, that's us.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for the intro, Neil, and great to see how ShiftCare is expanding globally. I would love to get started and learn a little bit more about, your sales teams. How are they structured? How did they? Which of those teams have started using Clinch? So, would love to hear some thoughts there.
Yeah, of course. So the sales team in Australia is broken into inbound and outbound functions. And then in North America, it's a blend of both inbound and outbound. So we've essentially got 3 teams. Within each team, there is a BDR and a BDM function. So an appointment setter or a lead generator, and then an account executive / closing role. And everyone across the board is using Clinch, and that's just the sales team. We also have our operations team, our customer success team that's also using Clinch, and we also have our marketing team that's using Clinch as well. Yeah, it's been really helpful to have it part of the company.
That's awesome to hear, especially the cross-functional collaboration and different teams using that.
Yeah.
Great. I'd love to learn a little bit more about your go-to-market. How and before even starting with Clinch, what are some of the challenges you are facing in the space, or what and how were you thinking about potential solutions and.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of things here, and I think a really big part of it is that we have a lot of our opportunities come through to us. A lot of our opportunities come through to us, especially in the form of a web inquiry, and often we don't have a phone number for these businesses, and so emails are a really big part of the way that we outreach, and we've grown quite rapidly, and I empower my team to have a lot of autonomy around the way that they interact with customers. But obviously with that comes a challenge of making sure that we're getting the right message across, the representing the brand correctly, and obviously being effective as possible. And there was a varied range of experience for people sending out emails. From the bulk email, the generic send out, right through to someone that spends a bit too much time personalizing an email that really needs to be sent out quicker. So from that side, we were using chat GPTs and things like that. Everyone was using that independently, but it was very, very clear that it was an email written by AI. And obviously that's not what you want. You want the person receiving the email to feel like they've been presented with an email that's been written, personalized for them. And so that's one of the really big things that Clinch has helped with. And then the flip side, so the other side of the coin is we have lots of tools in place that we use to capture all of our interactions. Phone calls are recorded, there's transcripts of those, there's Zoom transcripts. And then that email that gets sent post that interaction, that's more important than that initial email, because that's where we're sort of solidifying our next steps. And either that email was not getting sent, which is worst case scenario, or it wasn't getting sent straight away, or it just didn't hit the mark. Like someone would have to either spend a huge amount of time and to get it right, or they would send something really quickly just to tick the box to say that it's been done. And one of the really big things that Clinch has done is the combination of being able to streamline that process, but also over and above what something like ChatGPT would do is that there is this database of information that Clinch has on ShiftCare that we continue to add to. So it all of a sudden, it's no longer or it doesn't act like an AI tool. It's acting like another person in the team, which is obviously amazing and what we're trying to go for there.
That's awesome. Great to hear. You mentioned about some of the tools that the team was using before, and now with Clinch streamlining workflows. Like, are there any other tools that you replaced with Clinch, and what has that experience been like?
Yeah. So there's been a couple. So mainly, I think the big one is Fathom. So Fathom was an AI note taker. And essentially, it did the first part of that process that we just talked about, where it would capture the information and do a summary of it. But then the salesperson would still need to go and write the email on the back of that. It doesn't automatically generate that email. So that was a tool that we were paying for that we no longer need now, because Clinch not only or Zoom has the recording side of it, and then Clinch is integrated with Zoom. And so all of a sudden now, at the end of our meetings, we've just got this email that's ready to go to be sent. So Fathom is one of the tools that we've replaced. And then we had a few different email AI tools, but one of the ones that we were paying for was Lavender. And it was a great tool to start off with, but it got left behind when we adopted Clinch, because Lavender would like halfway get you there, whereas Clinch is, because of its integrations and the way that everything talks, it's so much easier to use. It's more seamless, and also it has, as I said, that sort of ShiftCare voice because it's been trained with that database.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super useful.
Yeah, great to hear.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil. So we always love to hear more how customers are using Clinch, because ultimately it helps us shape product strategy and understand where we should focus our attention. So can you tell us more and walk us through your current workflow while using our product?
Yeah, of course. So we use HubSpot, Gmail or G Suite as our email, and obviously Zoom for our interactions, video interactions, and Clinch is connected to all of those. And so there's lots of touch points that Clinches have. I'll talk about the sales team and then also what the marketing team are using it for, and customer success. The sales team, obviously we're doing that sort of pre-reach out, so that cold reach out, so we can have a little bit more information. Often that's in response to an email as well. So someone sent us an email asking for a piece of information or instructions on something, or some sort of specific inquiry, and we're able to just click a button, and then Clinch is able to give us a reply to that. So that part there is amazing. I think the really powerful part of it for us right now is that follow-up email, because our sales team is growing. We're expanding at a rapid rate, and we are just back-to-backs in meetings. Like, it's just the calendar is crazy, and time kills deals. So if you don't have something like Clinch to go and write those emails for you and prepare them in a way so that instead of you spending 15-20 minutes writing a personalized email, you can do that with a click of a button, 60 seconds to go through it and make sure it's all good to go, and then send it out. That's where the real savings have come from. And then obviously just all of the other interactions that happen from there. Like, some people can stare at a blank email just thinking for how to start, and so this can get the ball rolling on that as well. So that's really good. The the customer success team use it in a similar way. So it's summaries of onboardings that they have done, because we all know that you can sit in an onboarding for an hour and be talked to and whatnot, but then you only retain 30% of that. And so having a summary of a specific interaction, like not necessarily just, hey, this is a generic email that goes out after the onboarding. It's a summary of what's happened, the pain points that they were talking about, the setup that they were talking about. So that part of there is really powerful. That's sort of one of the main things that I know about, and I'm sure they use it for a lot more as well. And the marketing team, just through the evolution of us adopting it, they use it for customer stories. So they might be having conversations like we are now, or conversations with existing customers just to check in, etc. And there could be some really positive conversation that comes out of that, like stats, improvements, ways that ShiftCare has been used. And Clinch has a feature that can turn that into a customer story. And then, like I've got email on the brain because that's how it's really sort of started, but it's evolved past that. Like we use it for LinkedIn outreach. That's a really big thing. We use it for generating LinkedIn posts for social selling. Yeah, there's heaps of ways that it's really improved. So yeah.
That sounds super exciting, and in fact, we are so happy that we can have an impact and help ShiftCare, because this is ultimately what motivates us to keep growing our functionality and improving. And despite you mentioned so many things you were excited about, was there a specific aha moment when you started using Clinch and something was especially useful or a game changer?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I think the big thing is the ability to input our help center, like our personas, essentially you staff member, but you treat it like a new staff member joining the company. You feed it information, and then you've got this essentially person that's working for you. And just everyone was starting to use ChatGPT, and I was constantly having to remind people to check it and like think before you send. And obviously we still have to do that, but nothing needs to change. So I know that there are people out there that don't check it, and I have the confidence that, hey, this is going to be right. And that's a really big thing, because you'll do more harm than good. Like the time that you saved will be lost because you've sent this unpersonalized email that is, yeah, it's generic, and you do more damage. So that's just a really big part of it. There's lots, but that's the main one. And then obviously the follow-on, where we use that the most, is just the follow-ups from those demos, the follow-ups from the interactions. It's really powerful, especially with the time constraints that we have.
Super excited to hear that.
Yeah, Neil, that's great to hear. And the aha moment is something that's really important for any startup, because that really helps us understand what customers love, and that essentially helps shape the product market fit as well. So yeah, that's great to hear that. Yeah, I would love to dig in a little bit on some of the impact from the Clinch has had on your team. Like are there any results, any observable improvements that you can share with us? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, obviously it's early days at the moment, and one of the things that I haven't quantified yet, but I can see an improvement in our response rate for the initial, like the sort of the cold outreach that we're doing. So that's a lot better. Often what we will use for cold outreach is we will look at the services that are on someone's website. So the services that they're providing, and we'll put that in, and that will sort of tailor us an email based around that. And so it just means that we're not sending, like we might send 2 different emails to 2 different personas within the company. And it's just a much more personalized, and I'm just seeing people coming back. And so this is just anecdotally, people saying, hey, yeah, this is working. Yeah, as I'm sure as time goes on, we'll see a noticeable improvement in the metrics there. And then just from like a big thing for me is just following up. And so I was constantly like, hey, we had this demo today, where's the follow-up email from it, like where's the action items that we need to take away from that, and I'm doing that far less now as well. So from a management point of view, that's a really big help. Again, it sort of goes to this, it's not just an AI tool, it's another person helping to manage the team and support the team.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And you also mentioned about the crafting the responses. Yeah, I would love to learn a little bit more about was there any productivity gains as to the team, the time the team was taking to craft versus now with Clinch how you generate the messages.
Yeah, there is like I've obviously got people in the team that are just like bang, bang, bang. They will send out emails all day long, and sort of that's their preferred method. And then I've got other people who are very methodical, very detail orientated, and they lose time during the day because they sit at a blank screen, a blank email, thinking about the perfect thing to say. These people have been kicked into gear, and something where they might spend 20 or 30 minutes sending 3 emails a day, that's turned into minutes, and that gives them more time to get back and prospect to more customers or follow up with more deals. It's really given us back quite a fair bit of time, as well as being able to increase the effectiveness of what we're doing.
Great, great to hear that. Couple of other features that we recently rolled out, and which we'll be digging more deeper with your teams in our next session. Is one of them is live Zoom search. So when reps are having a meeting with customers, because Clinch has access to your knowledge base, and it's like your own expert sales employee right next to you. You can search as questions come in, whether it's pricing related or whether it is any product features related. So within a live meeting, you don't have to go dig into try to find an FAQ and answer. You have it right there using our Zoom marketplace app, which we launched, which obviously works great with Zoom. Any thoughts on that feature?
Yeah, like so one of the really big things that I want to try and avoid is we have a huge amount of resource, right? There's plenty of information on ShiftCare available to everyone, and one of the things that I really want to avoid is us saying, "Oh, I'll get back to you. I don't know the answer to that question." And with a growing sales team, like we've got, I think there's almost 20 people in the sales team now, and I'm hiring another 15 people. This is going to be huge for that, because no one is going to have to say, "Oh, I'll do that." It's like, hey, we'll ask that question and pop up in real time. I don't have to leave Zoom and go and find our help article and search for it. So yeah, from that point of view, like it's obviously improving now, but I'm more at ease with the task of upscaling and upsizing the team because of that functionality as well.
Awesome, great to hear that. And one more feature, Neil, that also just rolled out, which we'll also go through, is new product ideas. So imagine you have your team is having meetings with customers or prospects, or and oftentimes they have feature recommendation or product ideas, and there is the communication that needs to happen between the sales and the product teams to make sure that those ideas flow through, and they also obviously need to prioritize, and it could get harder, especially when a fast growing company like yours, because ideas can come from all over the place. So how do you really prioritize the features that you want to build so that you can accelerate your customer growth further? And one of the features we rolled out is we call it Product Pulse, wherein right after your conversation ends, it extracts any product ideas that a customer may have asked for, and then it will basically prioritize. As well as you have more and more conversations, the more times the idea is brought in, the kind of customer it is, it automatically prioritizes on a board, and then you can essentially get it via email or Slack, or you can also integrate it with Jira, Product Pulse, etc. So any thoughts on that feature?
Yeah, so obviously every business is different, but our business is expanding at a rapid pace, and our roadmap is driven by feedback from our existing customers and prospective customers. One of the, I guess you would say, KPIs of the sales team, the CSM team, and support is that we need to feed the product team with this feedback and these instructions of what people want. And we're sort of pulled in different directions because we've got our sales target, we need to hit that. The product team need to hear feedback. And so that's another one of the ways that this is going to be able to streamline that process. And the other thing is that sometimes that gets missed. Like we might hear the same bit of feedback 5 times, we report it once and think, okay, that's it. But then the product team don't know what the priority is. But if they're getting that from 10 different people, we can build, not only do we know the priority of it, we can also get multiple sources of feedback, so that can go into making a product that's not just fit for purpose for one person, it's fit for the entire market. So yeah, like that part there is going to be really good. I know the CEO is pretty happy with that part.
Yeah, we're super excited to hear that your sales team is expanding, and we want to make sure that we continue serving you and help you be more productive. So we were wondering if you have any product feedback for us or any features that will be specifically helpful for you that we add to the platform.
Yeah, so just before I give you that, I just want to say that we've obviously been working together for quite a long time now, and the responsiveness at which you take feedback on and turn around and turn that into a product is amazing. I thought ShiftCare worked quick, but you guys blew us out of the water from that. So first of all, I just want to say that there is 1,000 things that I think we can go for this. I think one of the really big things, because this is really relevant for me right now, is we get inundated with RFPs, and these are sometimes 300 or 400 question, very detailed, and we have it's just because we want to make sure that we're getting everything right. It's a big manual process, and it can take days, and a couple of people from the sales team to do it. And we were looking at a RFP software, and obviously we thought, well, hey, this is something that you guys could potentially look at as well. And I was thinking from both being able to help complete those RFIs, so storing that database, but also our answers that we provide. So if we have these RFPs that we've filled in, providing that information to the database as well. So it's another avenue to build up the information of our Clinch AI employee. So yeah, and then so that's obviously a big part where we're going through a lot of those now, so that's front of mind. And then the other part is like analysis of the like sentiment analysis. So the sort of potentially going down that path of like what a tool like Gong would do. So so that part there, I think, given what I know the capabilities of Clinch is now, I think that's another thing that could be really valuable, especially like growing sales teams and remote sales teams as well. Like that's being able to, I've often said this was $1 billion idea if you can sort of replicate the learning by osmosis. So like being able to say, all right, this person said this or that person said that, and sort of being able to have someone cover, like essentially Clinch would be sitting in, and it would be that person that's sitting next to the salesperson, listening to everything that they say, and then being able to take that information, and I can use that for training and coaching and development, and then ways that we could potentially share that with the greater team as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. We definitely made notes. and we'll discuss it internally.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and one good thing I want to share is the sentiment analysis part that you talked about. We are starting to roll that out from next week onwards itself. So, the first part would be essentially getting some, a sentiment score for conversations that you have. So, oftentimes, when you, even myself as a, when I do founder-led sales, you can, after a conversation, you won't really know whether this conversation has a higher probability of closing a deal or not. And if AI can help you analyze the sentiment of the prospect, then your teams can focus on the right customer, right ICP versus trying to meet everyone. So that's something that we were rolling out from next week.
Awesome. I look forward to that.
Great. Neil, pleasure chatting with you, and really thanks for taking time to share your thoughts on Clinch and being a valued customer for us. And we look forward to working with you closely on some more exciting features.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Neil.
Cool.
Thanks.
And end scene.
All right. Yep.